The new arch, $380 million renovation. Now, in terms of full disclosure, I sit on the Great Rivers Greenway Board, which I represent St. Charles, and that is one of the organizations in a three-pronged attack to help raise money, in part, for the Gateway Arch. Samantha Fisher joins us, Director of Communications for the Gateway Arch Park Foundation. Good morning, Samantha.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, so this is important because people don't know. This is a very unique situation where the tax dollars, the public, and the private all got together.
That's right. This was the largest public-private funding partnership in the history of the National Park Service.
Right.
We're really fortunate that the people of St. Louis were so involved and care so much about their arch in the national park that they voted the tax themselves to help fund it. It's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, and it might be a model going forward for the national parks and all of this too as well.
It's definitely something that people are interested in and we're getting a lot of questions about, and I think it will be a model going forward for a way that really benefits both the city, the county, tourism dollars, and the national park system.
Yeah. All right. So it reopens tomorrow.
Yes,
officially.
The big reveal is tomorrow morning.
Before we get to talk about tomorrow, it's been open it's never closed, or it's only closed for a day or two, right? When they're working on stuff.
Right. When we're talking about the opening, we're talking about the new museum and visitor center at the Gateway Arch National Park. The Gateway Arch has been open. The trams are running. You could go there today and take a ride to the top if you want to.
But you can't get into the new museum until tomorrow.
We have our pipe and drape up, so the museum is curtained off. You can't take any sneak peeks until tomorrow.
Even the old dusty buffaloes are gone too, right?
The new museum is incredible. There's something for everyone. So you're still going to find a buffalo in there if you look hard enough.
Right. But
it's gotten a great facelift. Like, I remember my fourth grade field trip, and it's a completely different experience now.
Yeah. All right. But this is also part of the riverfront, the lid over Highway 44 now, as well as Keener Plaza. This is all a part of that.
This has been an ongoing project, and if you take a step back into downtown, you start with Keener Plaza. Keener Plaza has been completely revamped. It's really now a beautiful square where you can come down at lunch and have your lunch and bring your family. We have activities there, health and wellness activities throughout the summer and spring and fall, yoga in Keener Plaza. And then you go through past the old courthouse. We've added ramps, and that's the next phase of this project to make that more accessible. That lid over the highway makes the arch where it used to be an island, basically, from downtown. And now to watch people ride their bikes over it and walk and take their pictures, it's just seamless, and it feels like it always should have been there.
The new museum, now when we're talking about a new museum, the old museum, you would walk in on a ramp from either leg. This has been, talk about transformed. Now, I'm going to see it tonight, but the pictures, and I've seen it sort of while it was under construction, it is amazing what they were able to do.
It really is an elegant new entrance into the arch, and it complements the shape of the arch, and I think it's the best way to have renovated the space to make it more accessible for everyone. And that was the underlying idea, was how do we make this a space that's accessible? We call it universal design, so that everyone can have a great experience. So now you can take the ramp from the park over the highway, flow right down into the arch, and it's bright, it's air conditioned, so now you don't have to wait outside of those legs to go through security. It's going to be a much better experience.
I would think that I don't know what you'd call it, that sort of front area in front of the opening, that's going to become a meeting place, a place to hang out. That's going to be a special place, right?
Already people are gathering down there and hanging out. We have a really great reflecting pool, and it's so fun. Our office is in a building across the street, kind of up above, and so to see the kids, young and old, kind of splashing around down in there.
So what happens tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we kick off our grand opening celebration. We're going to have dignitaries. The governor's going to be there, Senator Blunt, Claire McCaskill, Secretary Zinke's going to be there, and just kind of giving everybody their thoughts on what this means for St. Louis, what it means for Missouri, and the people who funded it.
And then once the ribbon is cut and all the dignitaries leave, then it's come one, come all?
That's right. The museum is free for the public to come and enjoy. We're also going to be handing out a coin at
Bitcoins.
That's our commemorative coin, and we have thousands of those, and we're going to be handing them out in the new museum and visitor center, and then also in the North Gateway from 11 to 2. We're going to be having a grand opening celebration going on. So we've got live music from Boogie Child, food trucks. We're going to have a scavenger hunt. So it's family fun all afternoon, just to really give something for people to do. Already, people are coming into town for the 4th of July. I was downtown this weekend, so we expect a big turnout.
Now, Fair St. Louis is back at the Arch grounds this year. It's first time in, what, 4 or 5 years, right? It's been a while.
In at least a couple years.
Yeah.
It's the first time they've been back down there.
So normally the concert series is now where the opening is. How does the new opening change Fair St. Louis at all, or does it?
I think it just makes the experience more beautiful for people to come and see and have something to do in between the acts at Fair St. Louis, give them a place to cool down if they want to come inside the new museum. But the stage is there. It's all set up. It's just pushed maybe a little bit farther back, but it's going to be the Fair St. Louis experience that people remember.
Huh. And then fireworks when? When are the fireworks next?
The next fireworks are the 4th of July,
Right.
Fair St. Louis. Then on July 5th, we're doing an event in Keener Plaza called our Summer Social. It starts at 10 a.m. and we give people a sampling of all of the events that the Gateway Arch Park Foundation has throughout the year. And we're going to have fireworks on the 5th also. Okay.
So the 4th and the 5th. And then does the fair then kick up on the weekend then as
It
well?
does. They've got fireworks again the weekend.
Then they got the weekend. Okay. All right. Samantha Fisher, the director of communications for the Gateway Arch. There was also a article in the Washington Post. Was it the Washington Post? It was. Apparently, it was critical. I read it 3 times. I don't understand what the guy was trying to say.
Frankly, I was a little confused also.
Okay,
I thought the parts about the museum were factual and even positive. I think maybe the commentary just overall with his opinions. I mean, it's an opinion piece.
Right.
But
it was almost like he didn't like the Arch in St. Louis, and it was like that was decided 50 years ago.
Right, and he didn't come to review the Arch. He came to review the new museum, and so I felt like that part
it didn't
came
make any
through.
sense. And it was so highfalutin. I was like, is this a good piece or a bad piece? So anyway.
Honestly, there have been such great reviews about the new museum and the experience. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And what I really encourage people to do is to come out and see it for themselves. Yeah. And St. Louisans have such pride in the Arch. Yeah. I know they're going to love it. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing people go through the museum.
I know I'm biased, and I haven't seen every beautiful structure man has ever created, but I've seen a couple of them. But the Gateway Arch is so magnificent. I mean, it is the Eiffel Tower. It is the Statue of Liberty. It is just one of those iconic structures that man created, and it's right in our own backyard. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's 630 feet tall sculpture. Yeah. And it really, it's our front door when you're coming in from out of town. It's the first thing you see. It's what you associate with St. Louis.
It's also so cool that they picked that design, right? I mean, it's so out of the ordinary, but yet it's so simple, and you can stare at it for hours.
One of the great things about the new museum is we've added 100 years more history to the space, and there's a whole gallery about the building of the Arch, and it goes into the design concepts, and we show the five finalists and what their entries into that competition were. And hands down, the Arch is the clear winner, in my opinion.
Yeah. Also, I didn't know this until relatively recently. When they announced that Saarinen won the competition, they thought his father had won.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, so his father at the time was the better known architect. And so when the telegram came to E. Saarinen, and his name was Eliel, they popped champagne and they celebrated for 3 days. And then a few days later, the call came, I need to talk to the winner, where's Arrow? And they're like, wait, I thought it was Eliel. So the story goes that they didn't skip a beat. The dad popped champagne and they celebrated for 3 more days.
So because they both put in their own bids, their own proposals, their own whatever structures, and they say Saarinen won, and everyone thought it was the dad, but it was the son.
I know, way to go, kid.
All right, Samantha Fisher, Gateway Arch Park Foundation Director of Communications, and so every time we need something from the Arch, you're going to come on.
I'll be here anytime you want me.
Thanks, and we'll see you tonight.
Sounds good.
7:29.